Hey guys, and welcome back to Teen Questions with me, Hollow. I'm recording once again on my webcam because, I don't know, I just am. Yeah, let's move right into the questions. Oh look, you can see the cup that I'm drinking from now, obviously, and you can actually see it now, because I talked about it like 2 weeks ago on one of those Teen Questions, and it was all about the Icelandic horse cup, and now you can actually see it. I described it to you. But now let me try and give you the best possible view. There you go. Look at that. Just brilliant. All right. Okay. Well, let's begin, shall we? All right. So the first question comes from Eagle Rios. Did you ever have a pet? Are you planning on having one ever? Yes, I had a rabbit and a guinea pig. The guinea pig was called Coffee because it was the color of coffee. It had white mane, all the way down the body. On the neck part, it was this sort of creamy yellowy brown style, which was the color of normal coffee with milk. And then there was black on her face, which was her whole face was, it was weird because her face was black, her neck was this brown, and her body was white, and it was coffee. White's the milk, black for black coffee, and then the combination of the milk and the coffee making this sort of brown color on her neck. And we just, it was a suitable name, I think. And then there was Snowflake. She was basically a really jet white rabbit with this grey splodge on her nose that looked like a snowflake. So naturally we called her Diablo. No, we called her Snowflake. Yeah, so those are the two pets I've had, and I don't have any right now, sadly. I really do want one. I really, really do want one. I would love to just have a cat or a dog or another, rabbit, just to hang out. But I think I need to wait until I move out, and then I've got my own place. And, with a rabbit, I need to make sure that it's house trained and it can just hang around in my room, and there's a safe spot for it away from wires and stuff. In the room I'm in right now, it wouldn't be the right environment for a puppy, lots to chew on. And for a cat, I don't know, maybe a cat would be the best choice in the situation I'm in right now. But yeah, I need to wait until I move out, sadly, to actually get a pet. So that's the plan of action right now to do with pets. So yeah, I've never had a dog, I've never had a cat. I don't know how to look after them, but I would love to. It'd be really nice, I think. So yes, definitely want a pet. A question from Toxic Viper. What are your thoughts on China's one-child policy? Well, I do know that China does have a very large populace now, too much for one country, and I think I've heard this is true. I'm not sure if it's 100% true. I'm not I don't know for certain right now, but I feel like it's true that in China you can only have one child, and the reasoning behind that is, again, because their population is just too big for their country, and they just have too many people and they can't handle it, so they've limited it to making it illegal to have more than one child. And it's both good and bad. I mean, the human race is now getting a little bit too full, I guess, on Earth. It's a bit mad. Scary in a way, really. Our populace is growing too much. Before long, there'll be just too many people. In however many years, 100 years or whatever it is. And in China, they're already sort of seeing these elements come in, and they've got too many people there. So it makes sense to limit it. But man, imagine just being I cannot have an extra child. I cannot have more than one child. You might want a family of 4, you might want a family of 2 or whatever. You'd have to move away from China. That's just. I mean, at least it's an option. If you want more children than one, you can just you'll leave China, but maybe your family lives there. I think it's necessary, but it sucks. And I have no real other opinion on it, I guess. It sucks though. Well, next question comes from Hendrik Lam. Hollow, do you prefer books or anime? I'm going to talk about manga as well. So books versus anime, definitely prefer books by far, because what anime is sort of a visual representation of things that you'd only be able to see in a book or whatever, unless you had ungodly amount of money, like a ridiculous amount of money to make a film out of it. And yeah, that's just not going to happen. So with anime and with books, you can have like people flying, you can have amazing, crazy monsters that would be like impossible to make. You know, characters that have a personality of exactly what you want and that kind of thing. So versus each other, anime is sort of the physical representation of books, whereas you know, books are just like, you know, the writing down and you imagine it in your head. And with books, I'd say I prefer that because you get to imagine it how you want it to be. The names are pronounced how you want them to be pronounced. The names or whatever. The characters look how you obviously have had it explained to you, but you know, there's not every little detail explained, and you imagine this person in your head, and it's exactly how you want them to look, essentially. That's, you know, your own imagination, whether it's good or bad. That's how you make them look how you want. You're given a bit more like option, you know, freedom with a book. There's no rush to get it finished in 20 minutes. You know, anime is normally 20 minutes per episode, for example. It can be as long as you want. You can read in your own pace. You could read the whole thing in one night, or you could read it, you know, one chapter at a night, or half a chapter, or whatever. So you're able to just choose, I guess, more. And manga, to do with anime, is essentially, they're like drawn pictures, but they're not animated. That's the difference. It's the same style, really, but it's not animated into anime. Manga is just the drawn version, like images and speech bubbles for what people say. And with that, you're obviously very limited because you can't say too much on each sort of page of the manga because there's only so much. And there's a lot less emotion you could show. I think I prefer anime to manga, although I do read some manga. My problem with manga is that I read all of it far too much, far too fast, and it's all a blur and I don't remember things. With anime, you can slowly sort of, it's kind of weird, you draw it out a little bit more, but you also skip a lot that's shown in mangas, which is a shame. It's hard to choose. It's all brilliant, and I recommend you read books, you read manga, and you watch anime, because they're all amazing. It's just really hard to choose between the three, and I definitely think I would go with books, though, overall. But I do love anime, I do love mangas of animes and the like, and yeah, just my opinion on it. Alright, next from TARDIS Panda Girl, TARDIS Panda Girl videos. Aaron, did you ever have a summer reading project for school? Yes, I had to read, what was it called? It was called Lord of the Flies. Really interesting book. And it was one of the first books that I read when I was at this age. Basically, I read books when I was younger, you know, between however young, like 3 to 10. And then I went to high school at some point and didn't really read anymore. I just stopped doing it. I played a lot of video games instead. And I think in year 10, when I was like 14 or so, we had this project to read a book and do an essay on that book, just like you seem to have on the book. And the book I had to read was Lord of the Flies. It's about a group of boys that are going on a trip, and they're in a plane. It's in like the 1940s or whatever it was, and the plane goes down, and all of the adults die pretty much instantly, and only the boys from this private school survive. And that's basically what the premise is. It's just like, I don't know, 40 young, 12, 13-year-olds on an island that's just abandoned and there's no inhabitants there, and they have to survive. And it becomes a sort of they become a tribe style thing, and they fight each other, and it shows man in its sort of primal form, where there is no rules, there's no laws. And I really learnt a lot from that book, so much that it was like, wow, reading is really powerful, reading is really interesting, and it changed my sort of view on life at 14 years old, and it made me read again, and I was so happy to be doing that. Reading, I can't stress it enough, it's such a wonderful thing if you do it, and it's hard to get into at first, but if you make yourself read a couple times a day or something, you'll slowly find how wonderful it is. So what I recommend with your project is read the book. Read a chapter one day at a time. You know, one night you read a chapter just before you go to bed. And before long, I'm willing to bet, you'll be reading that book way more than you want to. It'll no longer be a chore. It'll be something you want to read more. You're interested in it, you know? And that's what happened with me with Lord of the Flies. So I really recommend you just give it a go and read it. And by the end of it, you'll have sort of formed an opinion on the story and what it was about, the characters and the personalities, and you'll probably have a lot to say about it. And writing that essay, just like it was for me, was easy. And I'd say this project that I'm talking about now was what really like kindled my love for writing in general and reading. And yeah, I just had so much to say. I wrote that essay so quickly and really enjoyed it and loved the subject English thereafter. It was one of my favourite subjects in school, strangely enough. And yeah, I had a good teacher and I really got along with them. And I just thinking about it, I kind of missed that. But yeah, read it. And you'll find the essay easy, I'm sure. So good luck with that. And final question now from Connor Harrison. Hollow, if you were to move out and get a place, where would you go? So let's say money's not an option, not a problem even, and I wanted to go anywhere. I would probably move to London right off the bat because there's a lot going down there. I have friends who live there, and it's a lot easier to sort of set things up, especially with what I do on YouTube. I could collaborate with people easier, that kind of thing. It's also where the biggest airport in England is, so flying and traveling would be easy as well. There's lots of people there, lots of new people to meet, and I would love to do that. And I've been there a few times and I just love the environment and the way it works. I would love to live in London, but it's very expensive, that's the problem. Then I'd still be in England as well, so I'd be able to visit my family every now and then, which would be good. But I would love to not live in England at some point for a period of time in my life. Whether it was my whole life, whether it was the rest of my life, whether it was a chunk of my life, I would like to, at some point in my life, not live in England, not where I've lived my whole life, Maybe, probably America, not sure where, probably LA, best case scenario. But, yeah, I don't know. There's lots of different lifestyles, and I'd like to live in the countryside at some point where it's really relaxing. I don't know. There's a lot of places in the world that you should see, that you should visit and experience, and it changes your outlook on life. Some of these places that I've been to, like Iceland, places that you should visit before you eventually, well, sadly perish. You only have a certain amount of time in life, so you should experience as much as you can and enjoy it to its fullest, I think. And travel's a big part of that. Travel's both horrible and wonderful. The traveling part, where you're like on a plane and all that, is all pretty bad. But when you're there and you're in that moment, when you're at a place that you've never been to before and you're exploring and experiencing new things, it makes it so worth it. So worth it. So I think London, if I was going to stay in England, easily, and probably America if I was going to be in a different country for a while. Although Sweden's tempting, and maybe China, I'm not sure. Russia looks kind of cool. Lots of places I want to go to, basically. But God, I could never pick one. But there you go. There's my opinion on it in general. So hope that answers your questions today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your tea if you're drinking some with me while you watch. I'm going to take another swig. And I will see you guys next time. And I hope that you guys have a great day / night whenever this goes up. And I'll see you guys next time. Please leave a comment even leave a question in the comments down below, and there's your chance for it to be on the next episode. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great day / night. See you next time, guys.